So normally, when you are within this range, try to make my voice louder because my fan is a bit loud. So normally when you're in this range, this is going to be instantly a grappling range, mainly because most likely the length of your arm is also the length of your assailant's arm. So if you can reach them by holding their shoulders or by being able to touch their chest, they can basically actually touch your shoulders and touch your chest as well. So whatever you do, most likely they'll also be able to do the same back. So in this case, you can do a lot of things, but one of the things I'm going to show as an example right now is pushing. A lot of us, when we push, we tend to think of doing this motion and then push back, right? This, step, and then push. So if I do it right here, without pushing above, see how far my arms go, my hands go? So that's basically the amount of force that'll lead your arms pushing past your assailant. So the main point is to actually push them past their balancing point or from where they're standing. So that's normal motion that we usually do. So we put our arms back, our elbows back, take a step, and then we push. So if I actually do it in real time here, it's going to be like that. Obviously I'm pushing upward because I actually don't want Bob to fall down to my barbell rack right there. So it's a pain to actually put it back up. So yeah, so you get the idea. You do this, right? What if you actually change the way you push, but instead of actually doing your normal motion of this, you actually push your entire weight forward by just same mechanics on the foot, on the feet rather, still taking a step, but instead of actually just trying to stand tall and then push with your arms, so you're using a lot of muscles, you use your weight instead, making your body having a lot more contact with the ground, so to speak. You're actually using gravity toward your advantage. So instead of actually doing this, you're going to do that, right? So instead of pushing them from the chest, upper chest, your aim is to actually push on this area. So right around lower chest, abdominal, rib cage area. Okay? You don't want to be too far out when you're pushing. So either you push like this or this, but it's actually much more comfortable pushing this way when you're going low or sinking low, because you're using the lower portion of your palm, which is a lot more bony and has more muscle and has actually much more support because of your forearm right here. So it's a straight line. Whereas if you're using including the top part of your palm rather, it doesn't have any support, and it's kind of painful when you actually push a lot further from that portion. So instead of doing this, you want to do this, right? Obviously you don't actually want to crunch down because you might hit your head, but if all else fails, you want to just have your chin tucked, like so, right? You don't want to crunch, you just have your head lowered. Also having your forehead as your protection base, since this is actually one of the toughest parts of your head, like so. So in case that this one misses, at least this one pushes right here. Okay. Ideally on the chin as a headbutt, or on the lower chest for safety, just for added weight. Okay. Again, not like this. You're not rounding your back. Straight back, lower your head. Okay. So this way. see the difference of that as opposed to see the force? Again, the difference between this, so if I actually try to push it forward so that you'll be able to see the main difference. See that? There. So that's a shove, it's a push, that motion, as opposed to that. Okay? I am not pushing like this with force with my arms. I'm actually using my weight going downward, angling downward, using the force of gravity. As I push slightly downward, I just use that momentum to use my arms as the end force of pushing. Okay? Spot here. As opposed to that. See how much lift it actually did. So you're lowering yourself. Okay? This is also good, mainly because your opponent, or your assailant rather, will be a lot more aggressive than you, and they're trying to actually show how alpha they are. They're just having their chests can't speak. Their chests puffed out, and they're trying to show how tough they are. They're actually tougher than you. And then when proverbially push comes to shove, they're trying to actually just dominate you by pushing you around and all that stuff. But when their pushing becomes excessive, that's the time you're actually going to use that opportunity to tell them to back off. And if they still don't back off, you literally show them that they should. So instead of actually just doing this, you're doing shoving contests. This might actually end the altercation, and hopefully they'll be able to back away, and they would finally get the message that you actually mean business. And by business, I mean that you just want them to back off and not disturb you, and that altercation altogether. So again, main difference between this and this. Okay, again, I'm not doing that. I'm not actually hitting their ribs using the force of my arms. I'm just using gravity as I lower myself to push forward. Not actually forward tall because I'm just using muscles. I'm actually using gravity, pushing forward like this. Okay? Again, my head is lowered. My back is not rounded. It's straight, relaxed. I'm just lowering my chin towards my upper chest, having my forehead as a protection, because this is actually one of the hardest portions of your head to protect you. Ideally, again, to either hit the chin or the upper part of your chest as your protection for your head. So you're not just going to do this and then you're going to be plopped out. No, you're going to be doing this. Okay? So there's that. So hopefully this kind of pushing, you'll be able to include that in your training. And again, you're using this to defend yourself and just telling your assailant to just back off. Okay? It's not hitting, it's just pushing. Okay? Like so. Alright? Main target area, lower chest, rib, abdomen area. So most likely, ideally, we're going to hit here. But if you can't, maybe this portion of the ribs. Right? Okay?